by then we're already thinking about who we're bringing in the summer. You know what I'm saying?
Woo! Hey, that's a good point of topic. Hey, where do you think we need to say? Hey, how many players do you think we need to bring in maximum? Hey, Pete, clear, and don't start doing your little fantasy where you tell me 17 man. You see, Pete, man.
That's why I get Pete on this, man. Pete knows ball, man.
7.
Man. Pete knows ball, man.
Hey, where we getting 7 man from?
well, we're gonna lose. We're gonna lose 7.
Okay, who do you think's okay? We're losing a lot of players. To be fair, who do you think's going? So I think Manquillo will go.
Hayden's going. Hayden's going. Hendrick's going. Richie's going on a free. Dummett's going on a free. I think Gillespie will go on a free. The other goalkeeper. You've then got.
You say Manquillo?
Manquillo will probably likely go, and that's where
Lewis
will come in. Lewis will be sold. That's 7 there, and there's probably more. So you've got players that need to leave the club. Fraser will be sold. He's training with the under-21s. That's 8. So what I'm saying is we're gonna have at least 6, maybe even 7 spots in the squad that are going to be available. Now, why I'm saying 7 to you, but I'm not saying that we're going to go out and buy world-class.
What
I'm saying to you is I'm convinced that if we get Champions League, okay, if we got Europa League, I expected us to go out and get 3 top-level players. I mean 3 top-level players above 40 million. 3 players. If we get Champions League, I think we get between 4 and 5. That's my opinion. Because and there'll be 4 or 5 first team ready players that are not just here to be a squad player, but here to come into the team to challenge. So, for example, there's already lots of talk about a right-sided centre-back to come in and challenge Shaw, a young centre-back to come in, a bit like Botman, where Botman started on the bench, Burns started, and then Botman came into the team. I think Shaw's comfortable at the moment because, let's face it, Lascelles is not going to replace him. He's another one that's likely to go, by the way, in the summer. And therefore, that right centre-back comes in and replaces. You need a first choice specialist left-back. We want a specialist number 6 to push Bruno forward. And then what we want is either a right or left winger. So a Moussa Diaby, for example, a Maddison, although he's been linked to Tottenham, someone that can play on either side and be creative with goals and assists. And so you're looking at 4 there. There's already talks about another centre midfielder coming in, potentially as number 8. And there's talk of, maybe even another forward coming in because of the European football to supplement the likes of Wilson and Isak, not necessarily to play every week, but to be part of that squad. So I think there'll be a mixture of top quality first team ready players, 3, 4, 5, and then the 6th and 7th will be the squad bumper that will come in, maybe on a free from somewhere or cheap deals from other clubs in Europe or the top teams that will come in and do a job for the team. Maybe someone a little bit older with a bit of experience that will help the team along.
Pete, you just took the words out of my mouth. See, when I say these things, Fumi gets at me. But you say the exact same words.
You don't explain it, innit? You said 7 Ronaldinho.
Same words that I say. And Fumi was quiet.
But you know what, though? In fairness, I didn't think about the Exodus. Yeah. I didn't think we're going to lose a lot of players.
There's a lot of deadwood still to get rid of. We've only done the first batch. Like last season. Like Pete said, there's 7 names, 8 names to get rid of. And that's not even without thinking about planning for European football next season, which we're going to have to plan for. That's additional games, whether it be Conference League, Europa League, whatever.
We're not ready for it.
We're definitely not ready for it.
Even Europa Conference or Europa League, this squad of players are not ready for European football.
1,000%.
They're just not. So we need to get rid of those players that are nowhere near the team at the moment. The Frasers, the Lewis, they're in the squad. You see a Dummett in the squad, he's not coming on. Yeah. We're surprised that Richie's getting minutes at the moment, but he'll move on.
I reckon he'll be a coach.
What's that?
I reckon he'll be a coach, Richie.
Well, there's talk that he wants to play for his kind of hometown club, which is Portsmouth, before he retires. He's always said he wants to go back and play down there. So it'll either be maybe he might go and do a year or 2 at Bournemouth or Portsmouth. and then probably come back up as a coach because he loves it.
Yeah, of course he does. Of course,
and he's good for the team. He's actually been really good for morale, good for support.
So it's that, and that's why I think there has to be a change, a serious change of players. Like we need. So, for example, you talked about the likes of Longstaff playing so many minutes, blah blah blah. What you need is, and I'll just throw a name out there, a Kev from Tehran, who is just got his French cap. Plays as a number 6 for Nice. If you watch him against PSG yesterday, he was again. They lost, but he's top. He's top dollar. He's only 21, 22 years old. He's a proper guy. And you get someone like that in. You pay 25 million. You get someone like that in the door. That then means that he can be first choice, and Longstaff can get a rest, or vice versa. But then you've got someone with quality coming in to replace. Like it's that we need to think about, and it's that we need to put together. But
Pete, are we smart with our money and get in someone like a Tielemans? Because that got put to me yesterday. Like Tielemans is available on a free now. Me and Fumbi had this chat about, he could be coming in on a free, but he command a lot of money. But again, he'll probably save us a lot in terms of transfer fees to then put it elsewhere. Because although we are the richest club in the world, we have to be smart about our money because of financial fair play and all the rest of it. So. Is there little signings like that where we can be cute with and then just push the money elsewhere for, further up the fields or more higher priority signings?
110%. So just in Leicester, obviously being based in Leicester, you hear a lot of the Maddison Tielemans talk, and there's more talk about Tielemans coming to Newcastle than Maddison at the moment, which tells you a lot. Now, if you'd have gone back 6 months, it'd probably been the other way around. But I think Tielemans is maybe realised that those top clubs that he was hoping to go to maybe are not necessarily openly courting him, which is not necessarily a bad thing. He's not really had a great season, but I've seen enough of him that I know that Eddie Howe can get the best out of him. And what you're getting is a midfielder that can play as a 6 or an 8, predominantly an 8. He can get goals from deep. He's good on the ball. He's good at keeping possession. The only thing he'll need to improve on is his ability to press. But to be honest, every player that walks through the door as a new signing needs to improve on that. There's no one that does it like Newcastle at the moment.
You think he can?
I think he can. I do. What is he now? 26, 27? He's 26, coming into the prime years of his career. We're not talking about a guy that's 29, 30 that has already done the bulk of his career. He's still in his prime fitness. He's still in his prime age. So I do think Eddie Howe can get the best out of him. That's for sure. So someone like that on a free that supplements the midfield nicely, that can give an option. He's got European experience. He's played Champions League. He's played Europa League. He's played at that level. He's Brazilian. He's a Belgian international, regular. So he kind of fits the bill. He really does. And I do think there'll be a nice mix. Whoever we sign, there'll be a nice mix of British and European signings that'll come through the door. Because Eddie Howe loves his English signings.
Well, if Leicester go down, would you take Harvey Barnes?
He's the other one. He's the other one that Newcastle are really linked with. Last couple of weeks linked with him more than Maddison. I think if he goes down, if Leicester go down, we'll sign him. The only problem with Harvey Barnes is, having watched him and speaking to a lot of Leicester fans, is his consistency. He has games where he's unplayable and he's brilliant. I watched him at Old Trafford 4 or 5 weeks ago. He was excellent for about 60 minutes. I watched him against Villa for 45 minutes. He was superb, scored a brilliant goal against Villa last week. But he'll have games where you don't even realise that he's there. Case in point, Boxing Day when we came to town, weren't even in the game. Like we just shut up shop, and he's still young. What is he? 23, 24? He's still a young lad. He's got aspirations of playing for England. He is the type of signing that Eddie Howe would love. He would love him to come into the team, and it's up to us to get that consistency out of him. It's a little bit like Gordon, really. It's a similar situation to Gordon. Yeah. Gordon wasn't massively consistent, but if we can get that out of him, we can make him into a proper player. But he's great at pressing. He's fast. He's got trickery. He can score a goal, probably even more so than Gordon. he's probably more of a finished article than Gordon right now. So you've got something there to work with. The only problem is that if Leicester stay up, Leicester will want about 50, 60 million for him. Which, for me, I'm not comfortable. When you could go and get Moussa Diaby for 50, 60 million, who's got, 10 goals and 8 or 9 assists in the Bundesliga this season and play Champions League football and score goals there. You can exactly French international. You can go and pay 60 million and get someone like that that's ready to rock and roll, and who is a proper baller. I'm not comfortable paying that just because he's English. That's just me.
Mm. One thing we didn't mention is a striker, though, because we're gonna have to get a striker in.
A striker or a forward,
either or, as well as
like a Ekitike type player.
Oh, that name.
Not him, but like someone like him. Well, I don't know. I don't know if PSG are going to keep him.
They announced last week he's going. They want
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with him at all. Not happy with his attitude. Not happy with his how he's been training. Yeah, I seen some Instagram stuff with him. Like they played last night, and he's out partying with his agent and doing all these pics and stuff around Paris, and it's just like the guy's taking the piss.
We dodged the bullet there, didn't we? We dodged the bullet.
I think we did. I genuinely
think we did, and I think he was quite naive to think he would go to PSG and bench Mbappe and Messi and co.
Yeah.
And I think they used him as well. Like they misadvised the kid. Like they were just doing it to keep French talent in the league. But how does that benefit him? Mm-hmm. So, but what I mean is a player like his ability in terms of can play off the wing, or if we want to rest the forwards, you can play him up front.
Yeah.
Do we go for Fumbi's boy, João Pedro? Your boy Fumbi, João Pedro.
I think that ship has sailed, man. Unfortunately, man. I think that kid had talent, man. I wouldn't have minded him in the squad. I wouldn't have minded him in the squad at all. But that ship has sailed, I think, for him.
I don't know if it is. I don't know if it has, Fumbi.
You don't think so?
I don't know. I don't think it has. Let's be honest. For argument's sake, let's say Isak and Callum Wilson stay in the team. Callum Wilson's not going anywhere, by the way, if we get European football.
Yeah.
Never played European football in his career.
Yeah.
He played European football. Just like he went all out to play at the World Cup. At the World Cup. So he ain't going anywhere. So for argument's sake, those two are in the team. Your third striker or third forward, and I think you're right from me, you're absolutely right, someone that can play off the left or right, but play up front as well. They're going to have to be someone that's going to be happy playing that role. So you're not going to whine, you're not going to moan. Like Killian, for example, he's like second, third choice to like Kraft when he was fit. You don't hear him ever moaning. You don't hear him ever talking bad about Newcastle and demanding a first team play. When he comes in, he'll play and give everything.
And he does a job.
And he does a job.
Yeah.
You're going to want a guy, if they're going to come in, to do that role. Now, the only question mark is that how much are you going to pay to bring someone in to play that role, to play third fiddle? Are you going to pay 25, 30 million, which is what we were going to pay in the summer? He's now signed a 3-year extension since then. So is that going to cost us more? I don't know.
Then the Champions, are they up for promotion?
No, I don't think so.
They're kind of like, I think they're 8th or 9th. I don't watch Champions too much, but they're not definitely in the top 2.
But it's not looking like they're going to make it. So that could bring the price down potentially. But I wouldn't be surprised if his name pops up again in the summer, because again, it's going to have to be someone like you're not going. For example, I'd love him at the club, by the way, but you're not going to go and get a Marcus Thuram, even though he's on a free.
Yeah, he's going to give you a headache.
Plays on the left, plays up top. He's not going to be happy coming in playing third fiddle to Callum Wilson or Isak. He's going to, the next team he goes to, he's going to want to play every week. Yeah. So that is not a viable deal for me. But someone that's young, someone that's hungry, that's going to be willing to learn and kind of watch, play minutes here and there. And if he takes his chance, he gets another chance. One of them. Until Callum Wilson kind of is old enough where we move him on, and then he comes up and makes the step up.
I was going to say, Pete, unless we push Callum Wilson down because he's getting on in age, and then the next striker that comes in rivals Isak. So if we do it that way round,
I don't know. I don't think that's fair on Callum. Like
I know
Pete
it's
said,
not fair,
man.
but again, like time
Like
catches
Pete
up with
said,
you,
he's
bro.
gonna. I think he'll be fine for European football. You know, I think he'll play the best football of his career.
Yeah.
Even if we don't go far in the Champions League, I think he will play every game his heart out because he's never played in it.
Yeah, Callum Wilson will go into next season like Burn did, first choice. Like for Burn went in first choice for centre back. He started against Forest first game of the season. I think Callum Wilson will go in second choice striker to ease out next season.
Yeah.
But it'll be whoever we sign as potentially as a third choice. It'll be right. Okay, show me that you can jump the list. Tell me that show me that you're good enough to be considered the second choice to ease out. That's
Maybe like an Eddie Ekitike type vibe.
I don't know. That ship is definitely sailed. I don't think any Newcastle fans will be welcoming with open arms, man. I don't know about that one.
Ekitike.
That type of player, not him.
That type of player, 100%.
Type of player, yeah, but not him.
Yeah, Ekitike, I don't believe. I think we've got more chance of getting Jar Pedro coming back in. Yeah. But equally, you know what it's like. This ownership are working things differently. They've got a big list in every position that they're looking at. So they've got players that we probably don't even know about. You got to remember that young Brazilian that we put a bid in for in January. Yeah, like he would be that guy. He would be that guy. He'd play that third fiddle. He can play off the left. He can play just behind the striker as a number 10. He can play up top. You bring someone in like that, that's your third fiddle. Young, learns off so it could be a player that we don't even think about.
Yeah.
That we've not even talked about that could come in. And that's the beauty of it all.